is a very, very good statement from them putting groups now. How do you come back from that? I mean, you've all been parts of great losers bracket runs. Another game that you can potentially play and try and come back, but replays, what do they say to each other? Do they sit backstage now and kind of just debrief that game? Like, what's the best way?
I mean, in my personal opinion, they're all veteran players. They know how to take a loss.
You got two world champions on that team.
Exactly. They've lost plenty of times in their career. They've won plenty of times in their career. They have to go back and talk about what went wrong, why it went wrong, and make sure that all four of them aren't getting down on themselves. It's one match. You know what I'm saying? You can lose so many matches in the tour, and especially with pool play. That's why pool play is here. You have that one match where you go down. It's like, all right, you know what? We're going to regroup. Maybe we weren't communicating. When we listened to the Astro listening for Envy, they were communicating so well. Maybe COL was having some troubles with that. So you just got to talk about it. Make sure that it's all head up right there and not negative about anything that happened.
And I mean, when you think about it, that's their toughest match probably in the pool, you know. And the top two get out towards the playoff bracket. So you look towards, you know, was it Dream Team? I think they played next, and then the open bracket team. Those could be 2 wins. You get second place in the pool, maybe even first place. Who knows whether that happens to Envy. So. You know, they just have to move forward, just not worry about it. Obviously, again, we touched on their negative attitudes, especially Parasite. If he's bringing that team down, the tournament could be a very short one for them.
Yeah, exactly. They're not out of it yet. It's one game. It is what it is. You move on. You figure out what was going wrong. You watch the VODs. Figure out why they were doing so much better. Why it was so warm up your ones. Like that's a thing.
It was honestly, it was so good. Like watching that game. Playing with those 1-point plays, and you know, all of you guys in terms of objective play nailed it.
Right. It's just something you should practice. Take 20 minutes out of your day.
I feel like the key is it shouldn't rely on one person. I feel like you kind of touched on that as well. It should be the whole team, right? Like,
exactly.
You need to take that burden on your shoulders.
If you're a professional player, it's your job to know you have to be versatile. You
play some holes.
We had a lot of fun at AW, but that was a thing. When he said there was teams in AW, they'd be like, "Oh, I got the ball. Give it to replays, please, please, like get it out."
You asked plays during attached, and even JCap, that was their go-to for a little bit. But as that game went on, you notice that you can't do that anymore, because if I'm pushed out or if someone's pushed out, it doesn't matter if he's the better one thrower in a sense. He has to get the kill. It's a teamwork game. You have to have that rotation of teammates.
Well, that wraps up match number 1 of the day. Of course, still plenty of action here at MLG Anaheim. Congratulations to Envy on the 3-0 sweep of Complexity. For now, though, quick commercial break. When we return, game 2 of the day.
Call of Duty XP is all for you.
With the play of the night, he's ever got one. It's how is this happening?
Call of Duty XP 2016, that trailer is badass. Merc, of course, Call of Duty XP champion. I mean, you don't like to brag about it, but it's definitely an accolade. Dude, how awesome is that event, obviously? Just break it down. Obviously, this year it's a little different, but I mean, wow.
I mean, I think it's in terms of like the Call of Duty experience, that's it. Like, that's the pinnacle of it. Obviously, you get all of like the sort of Call of Duty surroundings. Like, they have Burger Town there and stuff like that. So it's definitely like the place to be. And then there was just so many people. Like, for our finals, like, it was insane how many people were standing up cheering. So I can't wait for this event.
Dude, it looked hype. Zombie laser tag. I'm saying 2v2. I got you reviews. I have been known to be good at laser tag. That's all I'm saying.
Any team with me on wins, so.
Okay, well, I like that. I like that. You know, paintball as well. Did you do paintball last year? Obviously, TV, you were there as well. Like, did you play paintball last XP?
I actually did not get to try the paintball out. Honestly, it was.
Man, we were focused, man. Like, come on.
I got first rounded by Clayster, so I was a little bit salty. But other than that, it was one of the coolest events I've ever been to. Super hype. Lots of activities there to do. That's in a Call of Duty event you can't miss.
Yeah, for sure. It looks awesome. It really does. Obviously, you were too young to attend.
Yeah, no,
the baby reap.
I was a pro in Call of Duty before, and I took a break for a little bit, but that event actually made me come back to Call of Duty when I saw Joe and them win.
Yeah, and it was a completely unique event. We played a game that we've never touched before. It was like playing for $1 million, buddy. Have fun. Like, hey, man, the controller.
You won. Like,
nah.
Awesome for sure. Just as an update for you guys at home, obviously the next thing we're going to have is going to be FaZe versus Luminosity. What do they need to do to perform here?
I mean, they've been starting off so slow with the single elim and everything. You got Clay getting hyped, Patch getting hyped, and everything going well for them. I think it could be a really deadly team.
So FaZe
then you gotta come on main stage and play FaZe. FaZe is like they can just be a wrecking ball. They can.
How do you immediately recover from that, knowing that you have another game? I mean, that's what group.
just rolling.
Right. And I mean, LG, like, they're all really good friends, and that can be a bad thing because when
talked about obviously the record online, but it gets even more interesting. Attach has a 2.71 S&D KD versus LG. That's pretty good. So yeah, by the numbers, that's very good. Obviously, you know, online we can talk about the differences there, but still 2.71. Like I think the overall map count is 12 and 2, or the round count in Search and Destroy is 12 and 2. Like that's just so dominant from FaZe. Like this, for me, when we talk about FaZe, should be that good, solid game one kind of warm up, get used to being back at Anaheim kind of thing. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. And going back to the 2.17 KD,
that's nutty. Like what?
Which is unbelievable. But the thing is, with their matchup, if you really take a look at it, you don't really have someone to snipe against Attach. You really don't. Study does snipe a little bit in this game, but it's not like he used to do in Ghost.
Right, he's just bringing it back.
He brings it back here and there, but like Attach is one of the best snipers in the game. He can be argued as one of them. So they don't really have anyone to go back at him. So that's probably why he gets a lot of first bloods. And then after, when people are starting to worry about a sniper, he probably just goes out to a regular gun, and that's when he starts to really dominate. And that's probably why he's had so much success going into the series against LG.
For sure. Talking a little bit about Luminosity now. I mean, these guys, as we said, they are currently in a game. Best case scenario, they take it to a game 5 and they win. They can come into this with some momentum. But in terms of the roster as a whole, Merc, what are going to be some of the things that you're looking out for against this FaZe squad?
Luminosity, I mean, like Saints has to play amazingly well. I think everybody sort of notices that Saints plays super well versus teams sort of below the top 4 belt. But once it goes to these top 4 teams, he doesn't like slack, but it's not the performance that you expect out of him. So for me, it's definitely up to Luminosity and Nameless as well. Because Nameless, I believe he's running AR on this team, so he's going to have a very tough matchup versus Clayster. He's going to have to at least contest that for a little bit, because, I mean, it's not like their subs have an easy job. You got to face Attach and Zuma.
Exactly.
Definitely doesn't get easier.
Since the roster change, they have been doing a lot better, a lot more consistency from Nameless in that AR role. Obviously, had to make a change after us two weren't making the cut for season 2. It's all good though. It's all good though. They've been looking a lot better since then. Got some wins on the board, getting some momentum for him. And honestly, one of the biggest players on the team has impressed me a lot is Spacely, actually. He's been performing really well. He plays a methodically correct Call of Duty. He's the one calling them out when they're making mistakes, when they're practicing, things like that. He's the one that's going to try and make them better. So if they can come together and take this first hard point against FaZe, that's a lot of momentum.
Big. Definitely. I mean, here is the actual map set. Fringe Hardpoint, followed by Redwood Search, Evac Uplink, Breach, CTF, Stronghold, S&D. It's going to be the same map set that we just saw, I believe. So thoughts on map 1?
It's FaZe all the way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you watch the last FaZe versus Optic series, it was like Zuma had like 47 kills.
Like 43 and 22.
Yeah, like I think this is FaZe's best map, because not only do you have Clayster, I think that Enable's better at this game than Advanced Warfare. Like, Enable is so consistent, he's so mechanically solid, like he is where he needs to be. Yes, he's a bit of a slower player, but it's almost what this team needs when you have such aggressive players. And Clayster almost still has that aggressive AR style, where so Enable sort of slows it down a little bit for them.
Yeah, completely agree with you on that one. But I feel like Zuma's going to need to be the one that's consistent throughout this entire tournament, not just this series, but overall. He's the one that tends to change up his style on certain maps. He needs to be the one putting that consistent numbers up, like we saw in AW. And I don't know if he's been doing it all the time in Black Ops 3.
Yeah, I mean, he's been, like I said, he's hot and he's not. So it's all about how he comes out of the gates. If he starts playing his corners and he starts playing the smart route right there, he's got one of the best shots in Call of Duty that I've ever played. I think both of you guys have played against him. It's probably one of the most annoying players to shoot against.
He's just so fast.
It's annoying, and then even when you have him in front of you, he's hard to gun. So he's definitely going to be the key matchup here, helping them out. I mean, like I said, if he has a game like he had against Optic Gaming in that league match, there's no chance FaZe loses.
I mean, there a look at Zoomer, just getting himself ready and warmed up. I mean, this FaZe squad, as we kind of touched on, they haven't really done much this year, and I feel like this is that first game that you want to see at Anaheim where they come out the gate strong and they really kind of make a point, because you don't want to put yourself at that massive disadvantage. You know, we talk about historically, you know, Optic Gaming on Friday and how sometimes they start a little sluggish. That's what Optic and FaZe and everyone needs to try and avoid. Rise have managed to do it. They're already 1-0 up in their group, so they managed to win that first game, and it's really going to be big for FaZe. They need to come out strong here, but I don't know, you know, I think maybe we could see a bit of an upset here.
Yeah,
it could happen.
I mean, obviously, I don't think the hard point's really going to go towards Luminosity's way, but the other game types are definitely ones that they could take. I know we were discussing phases 3 and 4 can be a little bit inconsistent. They're not always on the same page, and Luminosity, like if they're rolling, like they can be very hard to stop.
Yeah, completely agree with you. Touching back on, I'm not sure why Study does not snipe in this game. Back in Ghost, back in previous games, he was one of the best snipers in the game. The fact that he doesn't use it in this one is a little bit interesting for me, and Redwood would be a perfect map to do it on. Someone to counter Attach, because if you have nothing shooting back at him, Attach has free reign on the map, right? He can make them play slow, he can switch it up, and that's when Attach is so dominant. We've seen so many, 12, 13, 14 kill games from him in the league, and that's the reason he has no counter,
Yeah, exactly. You give away that full map control and you give him a sniper rifle, he's going to go ham. But whilst we wait for Luminosity's game to finish, let's take a look at the FaZe Clan profile.
My role on FaZe is kind of a mediator in a sense. I make sure that we're all on the same page.
Clayster's the oldest one, has been doing it for the most, so always got to listen to what he says, and he's a beast, so he's always doing work.
When he gets hyped up, like he hypes all of us up, and it really helps us like in game.
My longest teammate that I have currently is Dylan Price. His gamer tag is Attach.
He's probably our best search and destroy player. He's really smart, and he really knows his timing very well.
Out of nowhere, he just picks everything up, and he just carries us.
He's 18 years old, and he's this little kid who we treat as kind of the runt, the little brother of our team. And then we move on to Enable. He is one of the most talented first-person shooter players I've ever played with.
Enable is always keeping me level-headed. He's probably the most mature one of the team.
He always calms us down and brings us to the right tempo that we need to be at.
The last teammate I have is Tommy. His gamer tag is Zuma.
He's the type of guy that wears his heart on his sleeve a lot, and that shows even in the game. He's a super aggressive, aggro-style player, likes to be in your face a lot.
I do not know how he's like balances gaming in college, but he's still easily one of the best players in the game.
I love our relationship outside of the game. It just makes playing so much more enjoyable.
The strongest part about our team is our chemistry. We don't let the little things get to us.
I just want us to prove to people that we are a top team and we haven't fell off since the switch to Black Ops 3 after our dominant performance in AW.
There a look, of course, at FaZe Clan, worth mentioning. Oh, round of applause. That's what I like to see. Anaheim known for its crowd.
Handsome guys.
Yeah. Dashing fellows, dashing. Absolutely. But it's worth mentioning, Luminosity have just sat down. So I think most likely 3-1 loss. So they're coming off there against Elevate. So yeah, it's going to be interesting watching them try and kind of recover from that. But Enabled's going to be setting up. And something interesting to note, we were talking about just then, Saints. He's such an important part of what the series is going to be.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've teamed with Saints. Yes.
Right.
You're very right. I mean, me and Tyler have both teamed with Saints, and he's a player where if he is in a good mood and he is feeling himself and he's playing at his full potential, he can have the map on Fringe Hardpoint where he has 48 to 50 kills.
How is he bouncing off a loss?
That's his. In my opinion, that seems to be his biggest downfall. Sometimes he does get down on him and his teammates if he had a good map or something and his teammates didn't perform or something of that sort. So if he can come back here, keep that positive mindset and take something out of this, it will be huge. But he